Okay, so first I'm going to go into my non-spoiler thoughts of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then I'm going to dive into plot points, I guess, which will have spoilers, so that way if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 yet, you're maybe on the fence about it, you can hear what I thought without getting spoiled. Let's just go. It was a fine movie. That's kind of it, honestly. Like, I went into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with relatively low expectations because I'm not a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Volume 2. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like the third one, but, you know, I really did kind of enjoy the third one. I do feel like, though, there was quite a bit of the movie where nothing was really happening. But ultimately, there was also some great moments between the Guardians that I actually really, really enjoyed. So it kind of bumped up my enjoyment a little bit more with those moments. But yeah, I think, honestly, if you enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Volume 2, I think you will most likely enjoy Volume 3 as well. If you enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy as characters, I think you will also enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But I think if you don't particularly care about the Guardians of the Galaxy, it might just end up being a fine movie or a really, really boring movie. Like I said, I went in with low expectations and I ended up like enjoying, you know, the movie. I don't think it's top tier movie, but I did enjoy it. But I think if you go in with like really, really high expectations, it might not happen. I don't know. Now, I love the Marvel Crawl being just the Guardians of the Galaxy and their moments within the MCU. I kind of wish we would get that with all the Marvel projects, even though I do love the Marvel Crawl that we typically have where it's like all the big moments from the MCU. I really wish that when it came to projects with certain characters, it was their moments within the MCU. But nonetheless, I really did enjoy the Marvel Crawl being just the Guardians of the Galaxy throughout their time in the MCU. That was really cool. The beginning of this movie was dreadfully slow. Like, I think there was like a 5-minute musical montage where literally nothing was happening. And I literally mean nothing was happening. It was literally just characters walking around. They weren't even really saying anything. It was just them walking around to music in the background. And it's like, did we need like 5 minutes of this? No, we didn't. Now, it did make up for it by jumping right into, you know, this big battle scene where literally it looks like every character died, and I thought they were going to pull this is the ending of the movie, and here's what happened 48 hours earlier or whatever. But no, it was just a big battle scene in the beginning of the movie where it looked like everybody was maybe going to die. And nobody died. So yeah, it was just one big giant battle scene. The first of, honestly, too many if you ask me. So many battle scenes. I get it. It's a Marvel project. We need the fight scenes. But do we need like 20 of them? I don't think so. Poor Rocket. Like, seriously, like, getting to dive into Rocket's origin story was nice. I don't know if that's the word I would use for it, but it was nice to be able to see Rocket's origin story, no matter how heartbreaking it was. When High Evolutionary told Rocket like that he wasn't good enough for his civilization, and that he should have been smart enough to figure it out. Just, it broke my heart. Like, oh. And then we had Lila and Teefs and Floor, and I mean, they were cute. I loved them for what we got to see of them. Then they died. So, yeah. Lots of death. Just not of characters that we know. Like, honestly, all the other animals were cute too, but like, I'm someone who loves animals. The idea of hurting animals just hurts me. So watching a lot of the scenes from Rocket's origin story were hard to do. Like, seeing these animals being tortured and everything like that. And yes, I know that they didn't actually hurt animals while making this movie. Like, but it still didn't make those scenes any easier to watch. Honestly, it was so heartbreaking just to see all the animals getting hurt and nope. Yeah, but Rocket's origin story, heartbreaking. Did enjoy it, maybe because it was the only part of the movie that felt like it was actually doing something. So, High Evolutionary guy, not a great dude, not at all. But he also wasn't that interesting either. Like, I think he was most interesting in the flashbacks. I can't explain why. I feel like in present day he was just too much of like a cartoony villain. I don't particularly enjoy cartoony villains. See my Secret Invasion review for that. But yeah, like, he was just too much of a cartoony villain, but he was also like boring, and it was like, why? I don't know. It was just a lackluster villain. I really wanted him to be a better villain, honestly. So this movie may want you to think that Rocket is the glue that holds this team together. After all, we spend most of this movie trying to figure out how to save Rocket's life, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad that we do. Please save Rocket, right? But like, Rocket is not the glue that holds this team together. It's Mantis. Mantis is the glue that holds this team together because she loves everybody on this team. She sees their value even when other people don't. I'm looking at you, Nebula. Like, Nebula was doing the most in this movie. Like, she was like, Drax is useless, Mantis is stupid, and I'm like, can we not? Either way, Mantis, for loving everybody on this team, seeing their value, you know, Mantis is the MVP. Like, let's be real. I love Mantis. That is all. Now, this is a random thing to point out, but I really did love when they kind of split the Guardians off into like smaller groups, and like getting to see like the characters interact within a smaller group was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed those scenes. I kind of wish we got more, but we had to have giant battle scenes, so no room to have the Guardians split off into smaller groups and actually do character development. So yeah, I really enjoyed the smaller groups. I wish we got more. Now, of course, the soundtrack was pretty good. Like, it was fun. What else is new? It's a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and if nothing else, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies always have banger soundtracks, and Volume 3 is no different. Volume 3 had some pretty epic songs. Okay, Craiglin? That's what I'm going to call him. I can't figure it out. But anyways, he felt like so much of an afterthought. Like, we saw him at the beginning trying to master Yondu's arrow, and that was cool. Then he disappears for like the entirety of the movie, takes Cosmo with him. And we don't see him show back up until like almost near the end of the movie when they are trying to save all the experiments from the High Evolutionary, and then that's when we see Kraglin again, and that was it. And I'm just kind of wondering why he was in this movie at all. Like, did he need to be there? Probably not. But looks like he's going to be a new member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the new team, so maybe we'll see more. Okay, so one thing I want to say is finally we found a movie where watching the trailers actually benefited the viewing experience. So most of the time when you watch a trailer, you're like, okay, well, that was fun, whatever. But the trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 made it sound like this was the end of the Guardians. And then, of course, James Gunn being, over on DC now, it really felt like it was the end of the Guardians. So with that, it's like, are they going to die? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but who knows? And while that did not happen, none of them actually died, it did add to the suspense of these very, very many fight scenes, because it felt like it was the end. Like, it kind of felt like nobody was safe. Everybody was sort of expendable. Like, everybody could have died in this movie. And if you're going to have like 45 fight scenes, and yes, I'm over exaggerating, but it felt like it was 45, you better make the stakes high. And the stakes were kind of high because the trailers made it seem like this was the end. Yeah. But while none of the Guardians actually died in this movie, we did end up saying goodbye to the team. We have Star-Lord, who essentially goes home to his grandpa. Drax and Nebula, they're staying on Nowhere to build a home for, themselves, as well as all those children that they saved from the High Evolutionary. Gamora, she's returning to the Ravagers. Mantis, she's going on a journey of self-discovery, because it's like, I've been literally everybody, like, I've been everything to everybody, and I need to figure out what the heck my deal is. So, yeah, like, by the end of this movie, all we have is Rocket and Groot as the remaining members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Rocket is the captain. Smart move, I think, out of Rocket and Groot. Rocket is the better captain. Yeah, so, like, in many ways, we did say goodbye to the Guardians. It just wasn't necessarily in the way that we expected, or at the very least, the way that I expected, because I thought a good chunk of them were probably going to die, and that didn't happen. So it was a goodbye to the Guardians that we've known and loved for years, but a hello to the new Guardians of the Galaxy, and I will get to that in a minute. Yeah, so that was kind of nice. Now, the first post-credit scene, mid-credit scene, yeah, shows our new team of the Guardians. So, like I said, Rocket's the captain, Groot's also there, but we have Kraglin, mentioned him being a part of the new team as well, so hopefully he'll actually have something to do in future Guardian movies, provided there are some. I'm assuming they're going to be. But anyways, we got Rocket, Groot, Kraglin, Adam Warlock, Blurp, Cosmo, and Phyla? Question mark? Never did figure out how to pronounce her name. But anyways, one of those little children that they rescued. Yeah. So, Seems like it could be a fun team of new Guardians, I guess. I'm assuming we're going to have more Guardians of the Galaxy movies just with this new team. I'm not mad at it. I don't know if I care, though. So, I'm kind of meh. Hopefully Cracklin will actually have something to do. But, you know, who knows. But the second post-credit scene is honestly just a scene that's kind of there. I don't know if we needed this scene. I think we just needed the tag. So the scene is basically Peter Quill talking to his grandpa. I don't know what he's saying to his grandpa. I don't know. I don't care. But anyways, he's chatting with his grandpa, and then it goes and it shows the tag that the legendary Star-Lord will return. Okay. I don't know if I care, but here we are. So we don't know the fate of everybody else and their future within the MCU, but we do know that the legendary Star-Lord will return. And I'm assuming that we will have more movies with this new team of Guardians. Hopefully. Because otherwise, what was the point? I don't know. But legendary Star-Lord's returning. New Guardians potentially are returning. I'm going to just assume that. But everybody else's fate is sort of unknown. We don't know what's going to happen with them. Will they show up? Will they not? Who knows? But they're all alive, so the potential is there for them to show up in a future MCU project. Whatever that project will be. Overall, it was a fine movie. Like, it was a good send-off for the Guardians that we have known and loved for years. I just wish we kind of had more scenes of the Guardians just being and talking and existing with each other. And a little less. I don't need a whole lot less, but maybe instead of 40, we knock it down to 20. Well, let's cut these life or death battles in half. Because did we need all those battles? No, we did not. We did not need these giant battles every few minutes. Like, there are ways to make the movie seem like it's doing something than to have life and death battles. But, yeah, that's my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but let me know, what did you all think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? I'm really curious to hear what everyone's thoughts are in the comments down below.
Thanks for watching the video. I hope you all liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye!